Welcome back to another Meta Monday. Gardevoir Jellicent is a deck that excels at slowing the game down, locking opponents out of their options, and punishing them for every misstep. Now, if you enjoy control-style decks that are still very much meta-relevant, this is absolutely one that you should be playing. Now, and here's a list that I've been running, and the game plan is very straightforward. You want to open up with Frillish to item lock your opponents early while you take your time to set up your Gardevoir. Then once Guardy is established, you evolve Frillish into Jellicent to continue locking your opponent out of the game, while applying steady damage turn after turn. Now, the list itself is mostly standard by this point, but I am running two key techs. I'm running a single copy of Luxurious Cape because Luxurious Cape helps protect our Ralts early in the game, and it can also be comboed with Screamtail to allow it to deal massive damage and take key knockouts that the opponent wasn't expecting. I'm also running a copy of Latias. It lets us move our Munkidoris and Fez, and it can come up as a decent attacker as well. If you want to try this list for yourself, the deck list is in the description below. Now let's jump straight into the games. Alright, up first is a game against Dragapult, and our opening hand isn't the greatest. We do have a Psychic Energy that we can put on this Ralts. I am forced to use the Ultra Ball here, and that's because we know that we are going to be Itchy Pollen locked next turn, so we have to use the items that we can this turn. I am going to make a mistake here. I get rid of that TM Devo instead of the Rare Candy. The reason being is I wasn't sure how many extra copies of Rare Candy are left in the deck. I only run 2 copies, so if there's one extra, that would be good, but if not, we need to be able to hold on to that for later on in the game if they do get rid of a Gardevoir. Now in here, we are going to grab a Kirlia. We know that this is most likely going to be Dragapult at this point, so grabbing the Kirlia here is the smarter choice instead of the Mew. That way then we can grab 3 more Pokemon next turn by using Kirlia's attack. We still have the Rare Candy in our hand too, so we can just grab a Gardevoir, and if they do go into a Rare Candy Dragapult and have the energy to swing, then we at least have a way of getting into a Gardevoir to potentially do something. Now in here, they are going to use a Buddy Buddy Poffin, getting down 2 copies of Dreeby before firing off a Lillie's Determination. This is going to let them see 8 new cards. They do find a 3rd copy of Dreeby before attacking and item locking us like what we were suspecting. We do top deck into a Earthen Vessel. That can be good later on, but right now we can't use it because we are item locked. So it's easy turn of just going into Kirlia, and now we have the difficult choice of figuring out what we want to grab here. I could grab the Clefairy, but I'd rather not grab that just yet. We can just grab the Screamtail just to thin our deck a little bit, grab a Munkidori, and then grab the Mew EX, but grabbing a Gardevoir would be the better play here, so I'm just debating about which card do I want to get rid of out of these 3. I'm just going to get rid of that Screamtail. This is going to let us be able to grab that Gardevoir. We have a Dark Energy in our hand already, so we can get down the Munkidori. And with this Munkidori, we can use it as an attacker next turn, potentially taking out a knockout on this Badoo and setting up a decent board state in the process. Now in here, they are going to go into Double Dracloak before playing down another copy of Dreepy, so they have all 4 Dreepy down on the field now. But the good thing for us is that they only have 2 Dracloak right now. They are powering up the other Dracloak as well. That way then we can't just easily get rid of one and then they'd basically lose the game. So here we are going to get down the Mew, get down the Munkidori, and then we have to do this in a specific order. We have to put down the Dark Energy here. That could have been done later, but the order that I'm talking about is we have to manually retreat this Kirlia right now because it only has a single retreat cost before going into the Gardevoir. Otherwise, we wouldn't have been able to retreat and we wouldn't be able to attack this turn. Now, we are able to Adrenabrain as well, and we are just going to Adrenabrain off of the Munkidori here, throwing 20 damage onto one of the Dracloaks, making it a little bit easier to take a knockout on a following turn. Now, in here, we could fire off this Iono. They do have 8 cards in hand, so we could put them down to 6, and we only have 3 cards, but I would rather keep that to use next turn, potentially. And I want to see exactly what they do this turn. One of the big things that they can actually do is take out our Ralts and then potentially do a ton of damage to our Gardevoir, and it looks like that's the play that they're setting up. They do have the counter catcher, and they are going to bring up that Gardevoir. They do have another copy of Luminous Energy. They're going to put that on the Dracloak that already has 20 damage on it, so we know that if they go into a Dragapult, it's going to be on that one. That way then we can't easily knock it out. We have to actually use a copy of Clefairy to do so. Now, we do have double copies of Earthen Vessel in our hand, and we have a Rare Candy that we aren't going to be able to use now, so we at least have something to use as fodder. They do get down a copy of Jamming Tower as well before attacking, so this does turn off the remaining tools in our deck, which is just the Bravery Charm and the Luxurious Cape, but we're fine without having to use those at any time soon. We top deck into another copy of Rare Candy, so we are just going to use one for a Earthen Vessel. This is going to get us double Psychic. This way we can use the other Earthen Vessel to discard one of those Psychics, getting a Psychic in the bin. Then we are going to just grab no energy from that because we don't really need any more energy right now. We can only manually attach once per turn, and then we can draw one card with this Mew. Unfortunately, we draw into the Ultra Ball now. That would have been great to combo with one of the Earthen Vessels to discard 2 Psychics, but we are just going to fire off this Iono, seeing 5 new cards, and what a good 5 new cards these are. So we are going to use this other copy of Earthen Vessel, discard that Jellicent, get 2 copies of Psychic Energy, and then use the Secret Box to get rid of the Screamtail plus those 2 Psychics. This is going to be able to grab us a copy of Nest Ball, grab us an Artisan as well, and then we can grab our copy of Luxurious Cape because we don't have Bravery Charm in here. It is prized, and then we are just going to grab another copy of Iono as well to use on a following turn. Now in this Nest Ball, we are going to be able to grab Clefairy from, and then we are going to be able to use this Artisan. This is going to be able to grab us another copy of Ralts. We know that we have one more copy of Rare Candy left in the deck, so that is something that we can potentially go into to be able to get into another Gardevoir if they do take a knockout here. Now, we do have to attach a energy from the discard using Gardevoir's ability in order to retreat this Gardevoir. And then we are going to go into the Mew here. We are first going to use Gardevoir again, using its ability to be able to power up this Mew, letting us copy Dragapult's second attack, and we still haven't used our Munkidori that has a Dark Energy on it just yet, so we are going to move 30 damage from this Mew onto their last remaining Dracloak that they have on the field, and this is going to be able to clean up that Dracloak and the active Dragapult because we have the Clefairy down to give it ×2 Psychic Weakness. This gets us 3 prize cards, putting us down to only 2 prize cards remaining. Those prize cards are okay. I mean, the Lillie's Determination is by far the best card out of those. Their best play is going into an Ursaluna this turn and taking a knockout on the Mew, but we do have Mega Diancie in our hand, so they would have to also hit us with a Iono, and then we would easily be able to most likely find this Mega Diancie again, and that's a easy answer to their copy of Ursaluna. So they do see that the writing is on the wall. They are going to fire off this Iono, and then they will end up just scooping. Alright, the second game I got for you guys is going to be another meta matchup, and this is going to be against Terrazard, which is one of the harder matchups for us in my opinion, because they have access to cards like Dawn that they can easily search out using Noctowl, and that can get around our item lock from the Jellicent, so we have to play this very, very smart in order to be able to win. Now in here, they are going to get down the double Noctowl. They do get down a copy of Pidgey and 2 copies of Charmander as well. So this is a very nice board state that they have before passing the turn. Now we do get to go second here, so that is really nice. We do have a copy of Nest Ball. This can get us down a Frillish. We will still need to hit them with some item lock. That way then they can't just go Rare Candy Pidgeot into Rare Candy Charizard and just blow us away. Now, we are forced to discard that copy of Dark Energy in order to be able to get some Psychic Energy here. I am going to attach to the Frillish, and then we are going to be using this Ultra Ball, getting rid of the Kirlia and getting rid of the other Psychic Energy. This gets us into the Latias that we need in order to be able to freely retreat this Munkidori and be able to swing with that Frillish. Now, the hand that we get off this Iono is okay. It's not really the greatest. We do have another copy of a Dark Energy that we can put down onto a Munkidori next turn, and if we do find a copy of Rare Candy off the top of the deck, then we can easily go Rare Candy into Gardevoir, and that is going to be a decent setup board state. Now in here, they are going to take a little bit of time really thinking before just passing the turn because they are item locked, so they don't really have access to a Noctowl just yet. We are going to fire off this Ultra Ball just to be able to thin our hand and thin our deck a little bit more. I'm looking to see exactly what's in here. I was hoping to find our second copy of Kirlia, but it is prized, so instead I can just grab a copy of Jellicent right now. But we don't want to attach the Dark Energy to the Jellicent just to be able to make it swing. So instead, what I am going to opt to do is just grab our third copy of Munkidori. I definitely should have tried to do some prize checking on my first turn, and I would have realized that we only had one Kirlia, but we do end up at least drawing into a copy of Night Stretcher off of that Iono, so we are able to still get into a Kirlia, but now we don't have a Gardevoir in hand. The rest of our hand is okay. We do have another Psychic Energy that we can attach to the Frillish and then go into a Jellicent next turn if we want, or we can just keep it to a single prize board state other than the Latias, which can be very good here. Now, they do find a copy of Noctowl. We ended up giving it to them through that Iono, so they are going to be able to search for 2 trainer cards, and they are going to end up going for the choice of Double Dawn here. That way, then, item lock no longer affects them. Here, they are going to activate one of those Dawns. That way, then, they can get both a Charmeleon and a Charizard. That way, then, they can go into a Charizard on the next turn, and we know that we are going to have to start worrying about that now. Now, one of the cards that we have that can actually help us in this matchup is in our hand, and that is Mega Diancie. So if we can get into a Gardevoir, we can power that up. It's not going to do enough damage to one-shot a Charizard, but it is going to be Metal Weakness instead of Dark Weakness, and that can come up massively, especially early on into the game where I haven't really taken that many prizes, so they're not doing a ton of damage. Here, I'm thinking about putting down the Jellicent, but I decide to just attach the Dark Energy to the other Munkidori, and then I'm just going to item lock them one more time using this Frillish. We're not taking a prize just yet, so we don't have to really worry about too much. We know that they are going to be going into a Charizard, so the worst case scenario is already going to happen. They do go into that Charizard. This is going to be able to power itself up, and then they can use the other Dawn, be able to get a copy of Pidgeotto and Pidgeot. That way then they can finally get that online next turn as well. They do fire off that Dawn, and they also grab a copy of Charmander too, just in case they need a third Charmander. Here they are going to take the knockout on the Frillish, and we are just going to throw up one of these Munkidoris. Now, we do have free retreat on them right now. We do top deck into a Ultra Ball as well, so that is very nice. Now then, what we can do is use this Ultra Ball, get into a Gardevoir. We have one Psychic in the discard. We do have another Psychic in hand, so we can get rid of the Jellicent and the Luxurious Cape. This is going to grab us that Gardevoir, like I said. We are going to get that down, and we can get down this Mega Diancie as well. We can use that as the attacker this turn. And I'm looking to see exactly how much energy I have in the bin. I do have quite a few copies of Psychic Energy, so I don't even have to attach to the active this Psychic, but I can set up a Munkidori to be a backup attacker. So I am going to put that Psychic onto the Munkidori. It's not going to fall off because we have free retreat. And then we are going to be able to use this Gardevoir, and we're just going to put all 3 energy onto the copy of Mega Diancie. That way, if we top deck into another copy of a Psychic Energy, then we can easily still attack next turn and be able to do another 240 damage. Now in here, we are also moving damage over to their Charizard, setting it up so that way then, if they don't take a knockout on our Gardevoir, then we can move 30 damage again next turn and be able to take 2 prizes on the Charizard, and then potentially take another 2 prizes as well, depending on what they throw up. Now in here, they do get down into the Pidgeot, and they are going to be searching for any card that they want out of the rest of their deck. Here, they are going to grab just another copy of Noctowl. This is going to be able to search for 2 more copies of trainer cards. And now the question is, what do they grab? They grab a Rare Candy and their A-Spec Prime Catcher. So we know that they are going to be targeting down this copy of Gardevoir, and we're going to have to play with no Gardevoir now. So here they are just putting another Fire Energy onto their Charizard for some reason before firing off this Prime Catcher, going into the Pidgeot, bringing up our Gardevoir. They do have a Rare Candy, so they are going to be using that, and they're actually going into a Mega Charizard. So that's a pretty cool tech that they are running here that is going to be able to easily answer our Mega Diancie, but we have no other way of dealing with it just yet. We do top deck into a copy of Ralts. We could potentially just do a TM Devo here, but instead I end up going for a swing using Munkidori, just giving them a single prizer. But they do have Pidgeot, so I know that they can just boss up our copy of Diancie, so this is a game-losing mistake that I make. What I should have done is that TM Devo. If I would have actually used TM Devo there, they would have been forced to have to Rare Candy into the Charizard again, and that could have bought us one more turn, but we would have only taken a single prize on Charizard as well, so we most likely wouldn't have found the secret box in our prizes. So it's kind of a bad position no matter what. Here they are finding a copy of Superior Energy Retrieval, using that to be able to get some more fire energy, attaching for turn, and then using the boss's orders, bringing up the Diancie, discarding all 4 copies of fire energy, winning them the game. If you enjoyed the video, hit that subscribe button. I post new videos every Monday, Thursday, and Saturday. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.